Can you learn how to learn? The answer is yes, and you do so by starting with the fundamentals. Fundamentals are the things that are always there in a skill. Rhythm when you do anything musical, grammar when you learn a language, composition when you're making videos or movies. No matter what you're learning, there are certain ideas that show up throughout all of it. And once you understand those things, learning gets a lot faster, because instead of memorizing random pieces, you're building on the same core ideas over and over again. And what's really interesting is, most teaching doesn't start here, even though it's the best place to start. Usually, we start by memorizing small pieces of a skill. A dance routine, a sentence in another language, a block of code that solves one problem, a simple melody on a guitar. And that works if that's all you want to learn. But if your goal is actually mastering the skill, that approach gets really slow, and you're always going to feel like you're missing something, because every new thing you learn is basically starting from scratch again. Fundamentals work differently. They show up everywhere in the skill, so every new thing that you learn builds on what you already understand. But then, why do we normally not start there with teaching? Well, that's because, quite frankly, they're boring. And it's better to have a motivated student who can do a dance routine or play one song they really like on the guitar than it is to try to teach people all of the boring stuff, even if that's more helpful. But if your goal is to learn and get better quickly, that's where you need to change the approach to your learning. So when I say stuff that shows up everywhere, that's stuff like rhythm and chords in music, basic grammar and core vocabulary in languages, or server structure and functions and variables in programming. If you learn those as a concept, you can't do anything at first, but everything that you learn will fall into that structure that you already understand. Language learning is my favorite example for this because everyone has memorized a few sentences in another language, and sometimes that's enough. I personally don't really care to learn Italian, so I learned yes, no, thank you, and where's the pasta, and called it a day. But if you actually want to learn the language, you start with the core vocabulary and grammar. So learning how to say something like I want, I have, I need, I like, because once you know those, every new verb that you learn multiplies what you can say. Like, I want to eat, I have to eat, I need to eat. You get the point, and I'm sure just that example shows you how much quicker learning this way is. This really applies to everything, but I can tell you in my life, I was a self-taught programmer, and I took way too much time learning because I would only learn what I needed to know. And then I was always confused going into something new. Whereas when I started learning Spanish, I broke it down this way, and that's when I finally started making progress. And then I've been learning Russian lately, and it's been even quicker, because I know how to learn from learning Spanish. I can't stress this enough. Learning the skills that you can apply throughout everything you do, in whatever you're trying to get good at, will help you so much more. The fundamentals. Always start there. This even applies to things like exercise and weight loss. If you don't understand how calories work and how many that you passively burn throughout a day just by existing, it's going to be very hard to actually lose weight, even if you exercise. A lot of people make that mistake. So I wanted to demonstrate this idea with something I've never really done before. I thought about studying Japanese grammar for 30 minutes, but I don't think anyone wants to watch that. So instead, I tried learning how to shuffle. And it turns out shuffling actually has a really simple structure behind it. So let's see how I looked after 30 minutes of practice and talk through my mindset as I was learning. The first thing that I did was find a YouTuber who I liked and study his videos, and my goal was to learn 3 or 4 different steps. I spent a few minutes practicing along with him. You can see it in the webcam, but This was before the practice, just so that I wasn't starting from nothing. This took about 10 minutes and I went through 3 different videos of his. Then it was time to start for real. I have no idea where to put this phone, or how to hold it to look good, I guess, but okay. I start off pretty slow, just trying to bounce in time to the music. The second that I start trying to add in the things that I was just practicing, I completely lose the beat. But that's to be expected, to be honest. This is mostly about just kind of getting a feel for the moves. They all look a little bit rough, but that's to be expected. More importantly, after about 5 minutes, I've run into the first hard part of shuffling. It is exhausting to do. So right away in the first 5 minutes, doing these steps is making my dogs bark. And I'm really struggling mostly with the idea of turning my foot in and out. So like when you're like this and you're supposed to in, out. Like I said, this is the first 5 minutes and I've never done this before. Gonna try and get that down. One thing, this is really cardio intensive and I'm in pretty good shape. I run a lot, so I'm surprised that it's getting to me this much, but 25 more minutes of this. Let's see where we get to. My next practice session went a lot longer and I kept to focus on trying to actually do these moves in time. As such, I looked pretty terrible doing all of the moves. This is my least favorite video of me doing this by far, but I think looking this bad is important to show because a lot of people are afraid to look bad when they're learning something new. Like, this is what it looks like when you're learning. It's pretty rough. It's hard to watch back. And yeah, let's just move into my next talking session because I was completely spent and needed to take like 10 minutes after this. Stepped outside for a minute to get some cool air. Taking a quick water break, fresh air break. We will see what it's like by the final 30 minutes. I'm already feeling like I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it. But what's really going to be exciting is how much better is this going to look at the end of the week? Because like I feel like I know what to do and I just don't know how to do it. Like I'm tripping over my own feet a lot. So, all right. Probably going to go for one more session of this and then yeah. That'll be the first video on how to learn, and the follow-up will be what I look like a few months from now. So, yeah, nice. Here is the playlist that I'm listening to. 8 minutes. I've got about, I think, 8 minutes left. I'm at the half-hour mark, so let's go. One thing that I do here that I really like is you notice I take a minute to just kind of hop to the beat and not try and do anything in particular. This is probably the best looking dancing in this video. Then I have some fun doing the running man and just kind of spinning around and having a good time with it. If I'm committed to dancing anyway, I may as well have fun. There's one thing I do want to call out though. In the middle of this, I notice that whenever I'm trying to do the Charleston, I keep on not getting a good turn on my toes. So when you're learning, something really powerful is just slowing down and isolating the thing that you're having trouble with. I don't quite get it here because I'm having trouble with doing this turn-in while also circling the back foot, but this practice actually does help me with going side to side. And then finally, I ended off. This is 30 minutes of practice, and I felt like I got some good clips, but mostly I felt like any longer, and I wasn't going to be able to walk tomorrow. Yeah, gonna watch back this footage and I hope I did get better. But like, if nothing else, this is really fun. So I'm gonna keep this up like a week or two. I'll do like 30-minute sessions like this. I'll probably lose 5 pounds and I'll also get back to you on how much better I'm doing. So, yeah, I'd say for a day 1, I'm rave ready. It's St. Patrick's Day on the day I'm practicing this. I'm probably going to skip the Charleston. That gave me the most trouble, but you can bet I'll be hitting those dance moves while I'm out. Pro tip if you're ever out, by the way. just dancing and having fun will get you attention from everybody. It doesn't matter if you're good. Not just women, like, everyone will come up and say something if you just look like you're having a great time. Unless you look high off your ass, then they'll think you're on drugs, but till next time, see ya. Hey, he's trying to steal my outro. Yeah, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping up the practice for probably, like, I'm going to say a month or so. I think any longer than that, I'm going to start becoming inconsistent with it. So it's been 3 days so far. I'm still keeping up the practice. It's just, this is also a snapshot into how long it takes for me to get a video out. So 3 days so far. And yeah, expect an update at the end of the month where I'll put my money where my mouth is, and hopefully it looks a lot better than that. I hope you got something from this video. I hope it was fun. More are on their way, and until next time, see ya.